So being in my own thoughts all day really does teach me to listen more to my own self. What I mean by that is, I guess my quality of thinking improves because I only got me to listen to, which means my little saddle sore today. I put on a new saddle before I come, and so worst thing you can do, because you've got to break a saddle in. I reckon it takes like a month or two. I ain't got that. Yeah, so I'm sore on my nothing. Anyway, yeah, so what I find is that you don't get caught up, you know, in the day-to-day toxic thinking of what day-to-day thinking requires of most people. And I'm not saying that everybody's negative, and I'm saying that I'm negative. What I'm saying is that you're bombarded, absolutely bombarded with consumption. Need to buy this, need to buy that, you should have this, you should have that, you should earn this money, you should earn that money, you should be employed, you should look this way, you should buy this product, you should be trained up on this, you should know this, and so on and so on. And while as humans we are designed to grow, expand our minds and appreciate, you know, the value of mind expansion and thinking, I don't believe that, you know, modern teachings, I'm not talking about school teachings, but the teachings outside of school that we absorb every day from every piece of social media, every piece of news, every piece of learning in work, a job, everything, you know, there's more schooling out of school than what it is in school when you leave school. And the schooling out of school in your adult life is uncharted, and also it's not regulated. You know, there are more controlling teachers called husbands, wives, friends, bosses, enemies. There are more people in the world who force teach the people around them, force feed people around them in their controlling understanding of life, that really what happens is we become toxified in how we think, because we forget what true quality of thinking feels like. We forget the essence of our own wisdom because it's gobbled up by other people's opinions of how we should think, the way we should think. So coming back to the reason why I guess I travel solo at this point in my life, the reason why I'm traveling solo at this point in my life is because I need to, I felt I need to, I feel I need to, I know I need to untoxify untoxify the way that I've been thinking for the last 20 years. And that has been really steered by the greed of success, a dozen mentors in my life. Some were, you know, really, could I say, purposeful. No, chunks were purposeful. But then you get mentors and coaches, man, are so toxic in how they coach, because it's from nowhere other than their own loss. Most coaches coach from a place, and I'm talking about business coaches. Let's talk about anybody in life. Nobody in life has the right to dictate how somebody else should live and how somebody else should think. And I'm going to say that I was at the receiving end of a lot of that, even though I'm going to say that wasn't always hello. As the receiving end of it, yet I labelled myself as a coach. So you come circling right back around, why am I doing this? So I can learn to hear me again. I can learn to hear my own thoughts, the quality of my own thinking. That doesn't bring me the chase of financial success, but aligns me with freedom. That sounds so cheesy, doesn't it? And it took me ages to understand the value of that word, because it truly got gobbled up with what is the financial range of freedom that everybody's chasing. Listen, poverty is success. I'm not talking about physical poverty, emotional poverty. When you're at that place where you are feeding from your day to day, not living so far ahead in your need to store life. And what I mean by store life, so many people have an abundance of, I'm going right to my, oh yeah, cool. So many people have an abundance of finances and a runway ahead of themselves where, just in case, and not just in case, it's a place of fear of having nothing. But what is nothing? Not having a home, is that nothing? Wow. I know. I am not interested in bricks and mortar anymore at all. You know, I had a closet full of suits and an office full of connections and contacts and all that other jazz that comes with it. And so many people might say, well, you know, you're at the end of failure. That's what it looks like. You know, I disagree. Far from failure. Let me tell you what failure feels like to me. This way. Failure to me feels like when you have a bank account that has so much in there that you can make any choice you want in life, and that regardless of the result of that choice, whether it's a good one or a bad one, and let's focus on a choice that actually you can afford to make the mistake of, well then there's no learning in that. That's not a life. That's just landfill choices. You know, people say, oh, you know, what does money do? Money brings you choices. And how much substance is behind those choices? How much thought? How much clarity? How much philanthropic investment for the emotional economy is behind those choices? You think a £100,000 car is going to get you from A to B any quicker than a £1,000 car? It's not. And the reason being is because there's restrictions on how fast you can drive in that. And whilst it might make you feel good sitting in your £100,000 car, why can't you feel good sitting in a £1,000 car? Why does your happiness rely on the amount that you spend in life, and for others to see the amount you spent in life for you to feel happy about yourself? That's just hideous. Well, or not, maybe, you know. There's a market out there for people with low worth, and it's called the rich market. There's a market out there for people with low worth, and it's called the expensive market. There's a market out there for people with low worth, it's called the market of expensive fashion. That doesn't mean those things are not good things. It just means if you can't purchase an item that's less than the materialistic value, that's less than the materialistic value, or let me rephrase that. If you feel you're living in a world where if you purchased an item that didn't sit inside your circle of people, that meant that you would be snubbed, then you have no freedom at all.